this, by the way, was called to mind because you gave a version of the slippery slope argument. If you can get rid of Leviticus 18, the next thing you know, there will be mixed dancing, yes. And, during the debate, not on gays and lesbians, but on whether we should ordain women, I actually heard someone stand up and say, if you ordain women, the next thing that'll happen is we'll be eating lobster. That'd be so horrible. And our Reform colleagues obviously thought that was okay. I've never tasted lobster. I doubt I ever will. And I'm with you on that there are, as it were, communal borders that we say in and out. But when we say in and out, we don't necessarily mean Jews are in and out. We mean our community of Jews in our given context. I'm reminded of a story of one of the great historians of rabbinic religion, indeed all religion, because he wrote on the church fathers and philosophy as well, Harry Austin Wolffson. Wolffson was a professor first, he was ordained by JTS, but he was the first chair of Jewish studies anywhere in the United States. He was chair of Jewish studies at Harvard University. And Wolffson always described himself as an Orthodox Jew. So you can imagine when one of Wolffson's graduate students came to meet him at the faculty club and found Professor Wolffson eating a ham sandwich. He said, Professor Wolffson, you're eating a ham sandwich. You say you're an Orthodox Jew. And Wolffson thoughtfully replied, oh, I am an Orthodox Jew, but I'm a sinner.
There's a list of conventions that courts use. Sometimes they fail to honor these things to understand what statutes mean of the kind that Rabbi Visotzky mentioned, that there's no surplusage in the code. A lot of our hermeneutic principles of Jewish exegesis have parallels in the common law that lists of specific items followed by a generality should be understood in one particular way, and the generalities followed by items.
Wait, are you talking about common law code now?
I'm talking about the practice of the federal courts in the United States.
Because you're quoting
yes.
a rabbinic text of that 3rd century.
I do, and these principles have appeared in the courts. Apparently it's simultaneous discovery and not, I don't believe there's a historical path from one to the other. I believe it's simultaneous discovery. Anyway, there's a woman called Abby Burton, a friend of mine who teaches at Yale, who has undertaken the following research project. She has gone, you assume that Congress means this when they do this. You assume that Congress means that one. She's gone to the staffers who write those bills in Congress and interviewed dozens of them. And she's asking them, when you do this, do you mean this? And they're like, no. And when you do that, do you mean that? And they say, no, actually it's somewhat complicated. There are a few of them that actually are reflected in practice, but most of them are not. And so this leads to a similar question, right? Once you know that your assumptions are false, what should the consequence be for your behavior? And I am comfortable with both the conclusion. Once you know your assumptions are false, you should not rely upon them anymore. I'm also comfortable at saying, we know these assumptions are false, but these are the interpretive tools that we use. Congress